Welcome back, everyone, to the Alienware Analyst Desk. I'm joined by Anatoly and Aurora, and we are going to be looking at eUnited versus Black Dragons, and we just saw PolarBearMike there. Definitely a fan favorite here.
Absolutely. It's so important for eUnited to have PBM join this roster, just show a lot of leadership.
There's a lot of opportunities here and a lot of opportunities for the fans, including to get merch. And if you guys want some of that merch, well, don't you worry, because you can get it. And you can get it 10% off using HRXSMT10. You can do that into the AM86.com and merchandise.game.
eUnited coming from North America's first seed. They basically had a bye throughout. They didn't have to play a game thus far. We saw Team Rival actually play earlier on that also had a bye in the European side of things. We thought, oh, they might be rusty, they might be rusty. No rust on Rival side. Do you expect any from eUnited?
That second game was really good, though. You got to look at Nocturne. It was 48 minutes. I mean, I don't know if it was rust or if it was Nocturne playing really well, but I think these international teams are maybe looking for some upset.
I mean, it's really exciting, especially going into Season 5 and hoping that these teams stay together and prove that they can maybe take down an NA or EU team. And like you said, that Game 2 was really close. And these players are going to be going, the winner of this is going to be going up against Obey Alliance or Elevate.
Yeah.
A pretty interesting matchup there. But let's take a quick reminder of the roster for eUnited.
PandaCat, PolarBearMike, Venenu, Screammmmm, Benji,
And that is eUnited. You can see PolarBearMike there, who was on ALG last year, who unfortunately lost to Lich.
That's right, and because they lost to Lich, they had to face Energy.
Yeah, that's a rough matchup in the quarterfinals. And LG actually last year played Lich in the quarterfinals, and they didn't meet Energy until the semis. So that's why we saw them play earlier.
That's right.
Set, yeah.
These knockouts and placements are so important, and the fact that eUnited are coming here from the first seeded North American side of things, maybe who knows what would have happened if they had to go to fight their way through it.
Do you guys agree with PolarBearMike that this team is one of the most mechanically gifted teams in the SPL?
I think they definitely have a lot of talent. I wouldn't necessarily call this the most talented
Yeah. I mean,
SPL team.
you can't argue with it, though. They are the first seed of NA this year, so
Fair.
that's the one thing that they have.
Fair.
So
they do have, like, Screammmmm definitely is like one of the most mechanically gifted players forever that I've known him for, especially being such a young age at 16, showing his stuff. Venenu there in your mid lane specifically there, you know, coming from Oxygen Supremacy and his evolution throughout the Challenger circuit, being on Team ALG last year in that Hunter role, and now making a nice transition in the mid role.
And this team is going to be going up against Black Dragons from Brazil. Let's check out that roster.
Black Dragons, MarcelZ, PIBE, Nann, oShip, Kliz,
There we have, you can hear the crowd chanting for Kliz. Definitely someone well known within the community for North America and Europe, even though he's from Brazil.
A fan favorite from Black Dragons. He's very heavily involved within all the Twitch communities.
yeah, he's in my stream. I see him in Bear's stream. All the big pros in NA, all the big pros in EU. Just, he's everywhere. If you're on Twitch watching Smite streamers, you'll probably see Kliz in there every once in a while.
He's definitely a memer up there.
Yeah.
Well, Kliz is going to be going up against Benji in the solo lane, and time again, I know I'm a broken record, but the solo lane is where all that contention is. The solo lane and the jungle laner being so important in that early engagements.
That's why I'm expecting some early picks and bans revolved around trying to take away some comfort picks against Screammmmm and Benji. You can't really let them get their aggressive gods that they want, but their god pool is so scary. Every time I see Screammmmm, sometimes even in rank, he'll play like Hou Yi, Raijin, like he'll play literally anything under the sun.
And also whip out a Arachne every once in a while. Maybe we'll see that at this lane.
I doubt that. I mean, we saw Rival test out a few comps and be like, we're not going to do that again. But it looks like we're actually ready for picks and bans, everyone. It's game number 1 of eUnited versus Black Dragons.
So Aurora here, eUnited's game plan, we're going to see what it's going to be. But I wanted to ask you, how come we haven't really seen Ao Kuang in the jungle?
It's really easy to play against because you don't really have a lot of like options to flank in the early game, especially against better teams. They're gonna have better vision. They're gonna have people watching for the Ao Kuang. They're just not gonna let him do whatever he wants, and that's kind of what he does in ranked. He can't really get away with that in a competitive setting.
The reason why I asked is because it's Screammm, right? That's one of his favorite gods as well. Because once you said Arachne, I think of 2 gods that Screammm really likes. I think of Arachne, I think of Ao Kuang.
Ooh, these bans are going out really fast. Does that mean that these teams are confident in each other?
I think they're just ready to play their own game plan.
Yeah.
Black Dragons are really afraid of these high push hunters. They're going to take away the AMC, take away the Ullr, but look what that leaves eUnited. Ravana being played by adapting in that last set, showing what he's truly capable of. And this is another flex pick. Could be for Benji, could be for Screammm.
Yeah, I'm guaranteed for Screammm here because he's been playing a lot in ranked. I've seen it a ton, and I was surprised that LG let Ravana through twice because Screammm plays it all the time, and they're Screammm partners. They play each other exclusively up until this tournament. So I'm actually shocked that LG let it through 2 games in a row.
That's what Taka was saying too. She said that was the one thing. As soon as I saw that Ravana ban, it was over.
And yeah, look, it proves here he picked Ravana first game, first pick of this set. So that really backs it up.
Are you more afraid of Ravana than you are an Ullr or an AMC though?
Yes, because of how he's able to just dive the backline effortlessly. We saw just over and over again, even in the set earlier, the first set of the day when Nocturnes was doing pretty well there with a Ravana, and I think it's an easy opportunity to get into the backline, especially when you pair up this Ravana with the Chulainn.
Chulainn coming out right now, the 2 big bruisers right there.
It's okay, Kelly. I think everybody's made that mistake with Chulainn and Chulainn now in the game.
Yeah.
It's like there's 2 Chulainns or 2 Chulainn's in the game. Ooh.
Ooh, and a
Raijin.
Raijin. Man, look at this lineup for eUnited right now.
This is the dream lineup, I think, for eUnited. They're getting everything that they really want.
All right, we have one last pick coming out of Black Dragons right now.
I really like the Fafnir coming out of Black Dragons a ton. He provides a lot of stuns and stuff, and Fafnir's like really, really valued in North America. I think he's also valued highly in EU. He's just a high valued support all around, but just especially in North America because a lot of the majors like to pull out the hunters, or a lot of the mid players like to pull out the hunters. So. Ooh, I like this pick coming up right now.
The global pressure is going to be able to kind of ping pong throughout the map. There's not an easy target right now, though, for this Ratatoskr, so I'm curious as to why it was locked right here, right now, instead of maybe a little bit later. Maybe they could have opted for a faster god, at least on the ground, like maybe a Susanoo.
They might be wanting to hide some picks because they picked their jungler here. 2 hunters are already banned, and no team has a hunter at all. So I feel like they both have something prepared in the hunter role because we might see 4 more hunter bans coming out.
Very true. With Black Dragons having these 2 bans and then the immediate pick after, they could have the perfect matchup that they want. But instead, they're going to ban away the Athena, which we really haven't seen this tournament.
Well, we did see her in the last game, and she did provide a lot of utility. And of course, that global ultimate, you can be anywhere in the map.
Yeah, Raffer played her extremely well, and they just dominated LG in that last match.
And we got 2 more bans coming out, one for eUnited, one for Black Dragons. And do you think we're going to see a hunter ban here?
Yeah, they banned the Rama on United side. No surprise there. Rama's been doing very well in this tournament. Back to Super Regionals, he did very well there as well. And I think that was something that North America kind of picked up on in Super Regionals because we didn't really play Rama on our side, but the Europeans loved the Rama pick, and it kind of transitioned over into the North American side as well.
Especially when a Ratatoskr can do so much burst damage, dive the backline. You add a Rama that has so much global pressure, just shooting from a distance, that's an easy kill.
Yeah, Rama and Jingwei are both very strong against Rat, and that's the vice versa. Like Rat's going against eUnited, so I'm kind of expecting a Jingwei pick coming out of eUnited if they don't ban it on Black Dragon's side.
Why is that?
Because it's really good against Ratatoskr. He lands on you, you can dash out of his knockup. You can also ultimate his ult. So there's a lot of ways and a lot of variety to get away from Rat, and he's just very easy to kite.
Ooh, that raw ban.
Knowing PandaCat, though, he could easily go even for an Artemis potentially here in a very aggressive composition, depending on how eUnited really want to play it.
Man, I'm hoping Black Dragons picks Vulcan here for mid.
Yeah, and we also heard some whispers of Xbalanque just coming around the NA scene. I don't think it's going to happen, but we might see it here.
What was it? Someone told me yesterday that he has the best ultimate in the game for team fights.
He does have a very good ultimate in the game for team fights. I feel like I feel like you can make an argument that he does have the best in some situations, but not at all times. It is very strong, though.
Hachiman coming out for Black Dragons. I do believe that they actually played Hachiman yesterday.
Yeah, Hachi's just a solid character, a ton of damage. His banner is very easy to hit on the wave and the players at the same time. His ult's basically guaranteed damage if you don't line of sight it. So he's a very good hunter right now, and I'm surprised he didn't get banned.
What I really want to see topped off for Black Dragons is potentially a Soul. Soul hasn't been prioritized at all by many teams, but do we expect that as a last pick?
Nann does play Soul.
What do you think here, Aurora?
I don't know. He might pick it. They have the Fafnir. It goes pretty well with it, but I feel like he's not going to go with the Soul. I feel like he's going to go with something more traditional than a Soul.
Maybe a Thoth that we've seen, even an Isis potentially for some...
Maybe an Isis. That's not very traditional, but I could see the Isis pick for sure.
Fafnir with Isis would have a lot of objective control, having the attack speed on the coerce side and then circular protection, just having a huge pop.
I like United's dual lane picks, the Guardian and the Hunter. They have the Cage and the Hui ult, the Ganesha ult. It's a very good combo. It's hard to get out of, and they can really mess them up at teamfights. And they also have the Raijin. So if Hui throws his ult down, then Ganesh, and then Raijin ults, he could either fear them through the Ganesh ult while they're in Hui ult or taunt them back through it. So they got some big wombos going on that side.
And Tolly, what do you think about this Janus pick?
I love it because, as Aurora was mentioning, just how much slows the United has between the Ganesh and the Hui. Just all this AoE is very important here for Nann to look for the portals for safety more than the engages.
All right, Anatoly, game number 1 prediction.
eUnited.
I got to go with United too. I do like Black Dragon's draft, and I like the respect eUnited's giving to them by banning that Raw pick.
All right, so third match of the day, game number 1, eUnited versus Black Dragons. Let's get into it.
Thank you, Kelly, over there on the desk. Finch here and Hindu, and they seemed united in picking eUnited over there on the desk. Graham, do you feel the same way?
I think it's all down to Nann in the mid lane for Black Dragons. He was the best performer I saw in Brazil when I actually got to watch their Super Regionals there. And even in the tournament so far, Nann is the standout player for me. If he can do some work on this Janus, maybe there's a chance. Obviously, though, eUnited, the #1 team out of North America, they are favorites.
And we have some precedent here for the mid laners in particular being really important in these matchups. Don't forget the impact we saw Yaman having earlier on today as well. So, like you said, that mid laner, it's so important being able to get a lot of impact out of it.
And with these compositions coming together too, I do like the fact that they did get the Janus for themselves.
Right.
Ratatoskr in the jungle can cause some problems. Do agree with the analyst there, so I'm quite surprised we didn't see any Jingwei, because PandaCat was one that did like it back in the day, but we've not seen it for a while. Hui, obviously, a little bit more played regularly just lately.
Yeah, Hui can be tremendously impactful there with that Sunbreaker ultimate, with those ricochets. We saw some hot ricochets coming out yesterday as well. So clearly, this Hui pick is one that can run the game for them. Might have been a little bit surprised that we didn't see that double hunter coming out with that Fafnir over there with Black Dragons, though. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, with the Black Dragons as well, the Fafnir is going to be very, very useful to boost the amount of damage Kliz can potentially do. The auto attack's going to come into play with Osiris. Same for Ship and same for MarcelZ too. And not only that, you know, likes of Rafa and Energy, they've been talking up a storm about, you know, Fafnir still being really strong, even though we've not seen him as much just lately.
And we'll have to see how well they can take advantage of their semi-global presence that they're going to have between oShip on the Ratatoskr, Nann on that Janus as well, to try and get the most out of that mobility. But we're already seeing Horrific Emblem come out. Kliz immediately in response with a sprint of his own, just to try and make sure they're not getting pressured out too hard here, and it worked out for them for the moment. Actually, Benji's the one who's really low. They are going to go up and try and clear out the minions.
But Benji, though, look at his rage, and that's why Black Dragons back away quite respectfully there, realizing that he will transform, get a couple of extra abilities online, and cause some problems. So in the end, eUnited do win the little boxing match on the right-hand side for the time being.
Now, Black Dragons send MarcelZ over to the long lane, and that's why we were able to see eUnited did go up, take that red buff. It's around the waist of PandaCat right now. He started in the mid lane along with Venenu, so already stripping away some of the jungle away from the Hunter for Black Dragon.
Yeah, speed buff is available here, and it looks like PIBE's trying to take it down for Black Dragons before we see eUnited look to aggress and engage, which I do like the call of, even using the support to just make sure you don't lose jungle control.
MarcelZ is kind of far forward here, but had some help with those minions, so PandaCat didn't want to go too aggressive. Right now, PIBE still staying in the mid lane, so it's just gonna be MarcelZ going up against 2 over there in that left lane. And I mean, and we've seen a lot of different starts here lately. The 1-2-2, the 2-1-2, between these different types of starts. It depends, it seems like, on where you want the pressure.
Well, with how the season's been so far towards Super Regionals all the way through to hi-rez Expo, what we saw most of the time is the fact that it was 1-2-2 for a reason, which was push power in the early stages in the mid lane, which then extrapolated the amount of experience you could steal away from the enemy junglers in their own side. Oh, Kliz is in trouble.
Kliz is indeed in trouble. He has some help coming on the back with oShip. Actually got an important stun just to get Kliz just barely out of there. Benji was able to transform and is very low, but he's also been able to back up. So good job for Black Dragons keeping their solo laner alive.
Funny enough, I think Benji was considering engaging, continuing to engage there, but that stun from Ship was so big for the Black Dragons there, because Kliz could have fallen down for first blood, especially with how close he was to just being stunned in place over and over.
And that's the side of the map you really don't want to see first blood end up happening on, at least not on your own team. That solo jungle side, being able to control those elementals and the speed buff, it's been so important. Scream, though, already is the one taking a big trade. Horrific Emblem comes out from Benji in response, though. Benji's the one that's very low. Kliz continuing to go in and man fight 1v2, pushing them back.
Tell you what, man fight, that was well played by both teams. Benji was hanging around looking for the curse and found it. Onto Ship, who immediately went, nope, 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 I'm out of this one. Kliz is just still swinging away, so a nice little battle there, which Black Dragons technically now get a bit of an advantage in, because they're going to be able to get the tier 1 tower. Don't worry, that was an error code because eUnited lost pressure in solo, okay? That's all it was, you don't need to know about it.
You know, they're just confused. How could that happen over there with Benji and Scream? Either way, though, they were able to lose, they lost that pressure over there on the left-hand side. PandaCat over on this left-hand side, though, they've stripped away the jungle of Black Dragons. They got the red and purple buff. Now they're back over here getting their own buffs as well. So this is one to keep your eye on. You can see a bit of an XP lead already for PandaCat over MarcelZ because they've had the pressure over here and have been stripping away that jungle.
And I'm very surprised to see eUnited playing very technically outside of the solo lane, very passive in terms of just farming, trying to get these experience leads online. But in the sky right now, Ship's just got up. He's ganking right-hand side.
Yeah, he's trying to find someone to land. I can see why low health targets over there between Kliz and oShip, but instead decides a little bit better of it, or rather between Benji. They weren't able to stop him over on that side, so Benji able to survive some of that pressure that came out from Ship. But he's still hanging around over there, Graham. I don't think they're ready to give up on it. It's a good bait from Kliz too. Now Ship's running in.
And now the pressure is on. Kliz gets pushed in, but Benji's surrounded, no ultimate available. The beatdown could happen. Benji goes
Benji
in.
turns it around. Benji goes back in and picks up the kill. Ship is still holding around, though. Big rotation coming over from the through space and time. Nann evens it back up, but first blood going to eUnited.
Well, not a real surprise. I've seen Benji do that a few times in his career when he's been in 2v1 situations where you're like, yeah, he's dead. Oh my God, he got a kill or even a double. But that time, that worked out very well for Benji. He played around his abilities to the absolute limit to make sure he could get that.
And it's a bit of a heartbreaker there too, because Black Dragons essentially played that one perfectly. We're actually gonna get a chance to take a look at it again. oShip is over here to the left in the jungle. He loops back around, and this is exactly what they wanted, but Benji gets this push back in, Graham.
And with the push back in, look at his cooldowns. He realizes he's not on full cooldown, but he'll transform back, immediately leap, dash and go. There's nothing else he could really do. He could have just disengaged back to his tower there. He recognized he had enough damage.
He had the chance to at least get first blood out of it, so in the end, it does seem to be worth it for eUnited. A big play there by Benji, and a lot committed by Black Dragons to get something back for it from them on that back end. But once again, we saw PandaCat on the left-hand side extending his lead out, freezing the wave, trying to keep MarcelZ and this Hachiman down.
Yeah, lane freezing is something that we don't see too much, but there's going to be a gank on the left now as PolarBearMike comes around the corner, forces MarcelZ to pony up. But there's no ponies here today. PandaCat will rain the suns down to secure a second kill for eUnited.
Now it's 2-1 in favor of eUnited. As you said, 8-6 are the hunters over there in that long lane. PandaCat enjoying a healthy lead over MarcelZ, and that's pretty scary. A Hui out in front. Well played gank.
And going back to what you were just saying as well about the lane freezing, well, that's one of the reasons MarcelZ was like, I've got to walk forward to get minions here. And he didn't have any ward coverage to know that PolarBearMike was just waiting in the wings. And they still set up for some more pressure on him. This is a gank attempt on MarcelZ. Look at this on the left.
Yeah, Ship's been hanging out around over here, but you're right, MarcelZ's also in trouble over here, not quite able to get the root or the stun out for him, so MarcelZ, he'll be okay. PIBE was coming over as well on the Fafnir, so he might have had some support if they'd chosen to go for it, but either way, they let that one go.
That reminded me of Focus the Streamer. That's what that gank was. Whenever you see the streamer on stream, 3 members just waiting around the corner for him to respawn and go for the kill again. I like the idea because MarcelZ had a fantastic set yesterday, playing the drama today's on the Hachiman, and I think they recognize, let's get PandaCat big.
That is what it seems to be, trying to go over their key pressure on MarcelZ and get PandaCat, one of their big players, getting off to a good start for them as well. They've been known to play very well around their two side laners as well. We're seeing a little bit more action over here, though.
Yeah, right inside, we just saw oShip take to the sky one more time, look into pressure onto Benji and Screammmmm, who were pressuring Kliz under his tier 1 tower, but they did get away just in time. The pings came raining down, but MarcelZ could be in a bit of trouble here.
MarcelZ could indeed be in trouble, has to use that mounted archery. Actually gets a good turnaround and sends the damage back out. Good stun though, immediately drops the Sunbreaker down on top of him. Not able to clean that kill up, but just excellent play from both of these hunters. And Tycho Drums is up, lowering down oShip.
oShip has to get away, but meanwhile, eUnited looking towards the red buff right now, and MarcelZ's gonna watch the ricochet!
Good shot there from PandaCat. The ricochet once again, taking down MarcelZ. 0-2-0. Rough times for the hunter from Black Dragons, and they strip away the red buff. This is the pressure we were talking about.
That is the most disgusting corner in the game against the Hou-Yi. That is the same. I saw Snoopy do the same thing earlier this year on the same corner. That is nasty, that area.
Yeah, it's really rough when you're trying to back out with low HP, especially when someone as high level as PandaCat, or like you said, Snoopy either, recognize that you're back there. They can hit that shot, and we've seen it consistently now, Graham. That's something that they're lining up and landing from some of these high level players. Oh, Kliz, though, might be in trouble over here. He does have the tether going, backflip though to get him out of it, but the horrific emblem from Benji slowing him down, continuing to smack at the back of him. Benji gets a kill on the right-hand side, but PandaCat though, there's 4 members over here chasing him down.
Mike's out of mana, but in comes round the corner Venenu looking to support. The elephant will not forget that death, that's for sure. But now Venenu could be in a bit of a tricky spot, still has his crush available, but Ship gonna give chase.
He is gonna get Ship, and actually that's Venenu very low. Good play there, he had no backup from the rest of his team. They all went away, but Ship continued on with the pressure, able to get the kill onto Venenu. That's actually 3 members that have fallen, at least kill-wise. Black Dragons have evened things up, despite being down about 2,500 gold.
Obviously we're live in Atlanta, the Common Energy Center, but one thing I do love about the North American crowd is when there's underdogs involved, they root for the underdogs. eUnited definitely the favorites here coming into this, and hometown to an extent, especially with LG going out, but Black Dragons getting cheered for every single kill on the stage.
Yeah, there's a lot of support here in this crowd when they see these plays come out, when they see the hype plays. As you mentioned, maybe with LG, they saw them kind of favoring that one a little bit more, but here in this match, whenever they see a hype play come out, this crowd is right behind them. Black Dragons, no strangers, it looks like, to hanging around with some high-level competition. eUnited may have the lead, but Black Dragons are showing they definitely have the mechanical skill to hang around.
And my one thought for this was, it's all about Nann on this Janus. And right now, Nann is start with his Doom Orb at decent stackage for the time being, especially with 4 blues completed, but 2 kills to his name too. He's making these rotations, allowing the Fafnir and maybe even the Hachiman as time goes on to get in better positions and look for some opportunities. Adding the fact you've got a bit of global presence out of that Ratatoskr too, well, you're going to cause a couple of problems for eUnited, and eUnited, this is their first set of the tournament, so they will be a little bit shaky. Maybe you can punish them because you've got a bit more warm-up.
Yeah, this is definitely their best chance, Black Dragons, to try and find a way to get it out here when eUnited are having their first game. And you talk about trying to get Nann ahead. Well, that seems to be the plan. I mean, oShip taking down Venenu, that's the best way to try and make sure that Nann has a chance to stay even there with him. As you said, Doom Orb, the pin boots are online for him as well, so he'll be swinging on this Janus if that is the case for him. We saw some cooldown builds earlier, but it looks like for Nann, the plan is just to do damage.
But the farming from eUnited has just been so much more superior so far. Yes, the kills are 4-2-4, but look at the gold lead between these two teams. eUnited has 3,000 gold advantage now, and that's just because they've been superiously playing, but PIBE mid's in trouble.
He is in trouble there in mid. Benji is waiting on him to retransform. Coming over the top is Screammmmm. He gets credit for that one, not too bad. Is in a whole lot of trouble here, has to use the Aegis. Actually good knockup, but not enough. Benji takes Nann down. Tycho Drums from Venenu can't quite pull Ship back in. In between the tier 1 and tier 2 at 11 minutes, eUnited continue to pressure.
And meanwhile, PandaCat zones away from MarcelZ from a rotation as Benji dives down for oShip there to make sure he gets the kill. They're not even looking for the tier 1 tower in mid here, eUnited. They're looking for kills. Benji now may need to help Screammmmm. Screammm's actually baiting, and I think Kliz might recognize it.
Yeah, they are going to continue to go for this pressure. It looks like the rest of eUnited are happy with it. They're going to take Gold Fury. Screammmmm is in trouble. They take him down. Kliz able to get at least 1 kill out of this 2-for-1, but Benji not going to give it up, continuing to chase him under the tower. They do make that one a 1-for-1 trade, but eUnited, I think, are going to be happy with it.
Yeah, they did get the Gulp here in the left-hand side of eUnited, and now this Tier 1 tower is one more hit from death. Venenu will secure that for himself too. Scream, I felt like he didn't need to be there. They overplayed it. They were having a bit of fun, I feel. And in the end, it's still fine for eUnited.
Benji actually does get locked down for the moment. PIBE is the one that's here trying to help Nann catch back up for his rotation. Come back around the stable vortex a little bit off the mark. Gives time for PolarBearMike to come in with the silence, creates some space. Through space and times off the mark. Doesn't quite get it done for him. Nann, after the dominant pillars, is still okay, able to get away. PIBE, y'all need to back up. PolarBearMike and Venenu are still here.
And now PolarBearMike will come in, but it'll wear off for a second or two now. 12 kills in 12 minutes. It has been very fast-paced from both these two teams, just in terms of action more than anything else.
And we hadn't talked about too much either, but not just PandaCat over MarcelZ, but take a look at Benji, level 14, as opposed to Kliz, who's level 11. The XP lead on these two outside lanes is real rough, Graham.
It's almost 300 experience advantage for Benji at this point in time. I mean, granted, he's got 5 kills in 12 minutes. Is this point of the game generally in ranked where you're like, F6, get me out. This solo lane is going to turn up and cause so many problems, and that's exactly what he has been doing since the rotations towards mid.
Yeah, that tier 1 tower has already fallen as well. It's certainly not a knock we're trying to make against Kliz. Benji, though, playing out of his mind on the Chulainn. We've seen him expertly time the transformations and de-transformations to get himself another rotations of skills. Venenu looks like just having a little bit of a drum party there in mid lane.
Yeah, there's going to be a bit of a slowdown in this game for a time being now, because obviously with the tier 1 being down in mid and the right-hand side for Black Dragons, eUnited have to go very, very deep into the jungle to get towards these tier 2s. And obviously Black Dragons, they'll have that area warded, so it's trickier to find some of these kills that eUnited have been lurking for time and time again.
And eUnited have been so objective focused this entire game, Graham. That's what it feels like to me. That's why this lead is already at about 7,000. When they get kills, they go pressure the jungle. We saw them take the Gold Fury and pressure the solo side of the map at the same time. That's what these high-level teams do.
Well, we might see a fight over this red buff on the left-hand side now. Really, PolarBearMike and Scream, they're just zoning to allow PandaCat to get an objective, which we keep talking about, making sure the Black Dragons can't contest. Benji's fighting 4 in mid lane!
Yeah, Benji does not have a care in the world. 3-man knockup, immediately responded with Lord of the Afterlife portal to trap him down, but Benji has transformed. Looking for oShip, who's gotten out of there for the moment, but Benji's not done running yet. He's looking for the rat. He's trying to get out of there. He is up into the air for now, so not quite taken down by Benji just yet. Kliz now the one who's getting targeted by Scream. oShip up in the air, he's afraid to come down. Kliz just barely makes it out of there. No kills, surprisingly, as they escape the wrath of eUnited.
Okay, so Benji's starting to feel it now. He realizes he's level 16 now, I should say, as he just thinks. He's diving the tier 2 for Kliz on the right-hand side.
Against 4.
All Benji's doing this game now is causing problems for the enemy team to make sure that they cannot contest anything. And they're so focused on trying to kill Benji and run away from him that eUnited could do whatever they want anywhere else.
And they were able to. Portal Demon goes down in favor of eUnited. We saw Through Space and Time come out from Nann in an attempt to try and take it. I think he was actually on accuracy-wise, but just a little bit too late timing-wise. Now this Fire Giant has been started up in 15 minutes into the game. It'll be rough for Black Dragons if eUnited take this uncontested. Nann, it appears to be, is looping around the backside, has Unstable Vortex to try and make some kind of attempt on it. Not able to, though. Gets forced back out. Trying to take it down here is eUnited. No one is here just yet.
Ooh, eUnited bit off a bit more than they could shoot now. And Black Dragons were thinking about contesting, but Nann came towards mid lane to help MarcelZ get away from Benji, who is just running rampant here. eUnited, though, I like the call to reset. They're a little bit out of position. We could just still use the Portal Demon, go again.
And that felt like a call to me because we're 15 minutes in. If they don't contest, we'll take it. Kliz, though, is the one that's getting knocked up here. Immediate damage coming out from Venenu in response. Kliz, even though he's behind, still tanky enough to survive that damage and back up for now. But eUnited, I don't think they've given up on this right side of the map. PandaCat drops the Suns, though, on top of Nann, who's in pressure on the left side.
Oh, Scream's still chasing him as well, and the buildings came down. I think Scream might be able to find Janus in the top left-hand corner of your mini-map, and it looks like he will do just that. Meanwhile, Venenu will take a speed buff for himself. The chasing Janus is no mean feat. No easy feat, I should say.
No, it's not easy at all, but Screammmmm partnered up a little bit there with PandaCat. We're able to get it done. Nann gonna be sitting on another 25 seconds on his respawn timer. As eUnited are in control, it feels like, of the entire map. Nowhere is safe for the members of Black Dragons, despite only being down 4 kills, down about 9,000 gold, and it's only gonna get worse as now Gold Fury is in the eyes of eUnited.
And that means it'll probably extend the issue even further now, less than 17 minutes in. This is where the golden experience lead is just a little bit too far to try and get back into doing anything outside of maybe a Fire Giant steal or a Phoenix defense. Phoenix defense is definitely the most easy thing to try and do here, but eUnited looking good. Look at that player damage, 9.9k from Benji in the solo lane. And it's not just against another solo laner. He's been running rampant around the whole map. Kliz hasn't done too bad at 7k, and oShip just tailing in the wings, so Black Dragons haven't had a terrible time. It's Benji that's just the issue.
Yeah, and it's been a focus from eUnited as well. Some of the damage kind of spread around from Black Dragons, so not quite able to get the pick off that eUnited were able to get. Could potentially be in trouble, though. Venenu under pressure from PIBE over here in mid. He jumps away for the time being, so he'll be all right, as once again, eUnited do as they've done all game and strip away the jungle of Black Dragons, not giving them any room to breathe, any gold or experience for free or way to try and claw back into this game.
The only mistake I've really seen so far from eUnited make was that kill that Screammmmm gave up to Kliz earlier on. Outside of that kill that Screammmmm got, dropped, basically died for no reason in my opinion. eUnited have been very, very careful and selective about how they've been playing a lot of this jungle. They could have taken a Fire Giant by now. They could be forcing tier 2 towers as a 5-man group, but they're not. They're continuing to just continue the pressure and not make any mistakes that are gonna cost them anything and give Black Dragons a window back in.
And Black Dragons may have earned that a little bit too here in the eyes of eUnited. When that Fire Giant attempt they did start up came up, it was a really strong response from Nann that rotated over to slow him down. So now eUnited want to get it properly warded up before they go ahead and pull the Fire Giant, as they're doing now. Kliz is here though. oShip in middle lane has ultimate available as well. Lord of the Afterlife already forced out of Kliz. Benji and Screammmmm are the ones on zoning duty. No one is local. Fire Giant actually was leased for the moment though.
It was released, and that's good work from Kliz just to buy time to work out what's going on. He's communicating with his team how low it's got. Keep an eye for space and time. oShip is about to go up in the air, but it's too little too late.
Yeah, eUnited already have the Fire Giant. oShip is up into the air. He's not able to land on anyone. PandaCat deletes Kliz with the help of Venenu's damage. That's one member that's already fallen. Fire Giant on all 5 members. T2 tower in right lane. Gonna be the call for eUnited.
Well, as this game's gone so far, Finch, there's no been real surprises for me. Everyone expected eUnited to come to this and potentially cause a lot of problems for Black Dragons here today. And I don't think, Obey and Elevate, well, obviously they'll be watching this, but I don't think they've been able to really work much out of what eUnited might be bringing to the table here, because this is just a standard comp that we've seen so far. Nothing too crazy, but Robin, obviously, definitely a telltale sign.
PIBE already fallen over here on the right-hand side. Kliz still has not yet respawned either. Benji continue to be a nuisance. Terrific Emblem comes out on oShip to create space for the Phoenix on the right-hand side, which does fall. One more objective taken for eUnited, and this is the play for me that's been so crisp from them, Graham. It was about the objective, not the kills.
It really has been the whole time. Well, outside of the focus to MarcelZ as well, I do want to mention that. I mean, MarcelZ is only 0-2, but they made sure to shut him down early on and give PandaCat a nice, comfortable position against him to make sure there was no real threat of this Hunter getting to the late game stage and causing some of their frontline issues.
And this is the first game for eUnited too. We talked about this a little bit already. They've come out not looking rusty here to me at all. They look ready to go, and they're going to benefit greatly, I think, from getting this game to come back in and make sure everything's exactly where it should be gameplay-wise. They're putting on a really impressive showing here up against Black Dragons. The set, of course, is not over yet, though. This is just game 1. Black Dragons would have to, even if they lose this game, win 2 more after that if they wanted to go ahead and move on. But as you said, Obey and Elevate are the ones waiting for it.
Definitely, and we'll find out who wins that later on today too. But at 20 minutes in now, PandaCat just going to continue to get some more stacks on, well, not getting stacks online, but just farm up, continue to farm, wait for his team. They do have the Fire Giant now, and there's only one tier 2 tower remaining, so expect them to swing to the left-hand side to take that down.
They've already taken that right-hand side Phoenix, so left-hand side would split the focus of Black Dragons perfectly for them, allow Fire Minions to start pumping down both waves, make it difficult for Black Dragons to stand on 2 fronts almost simultaneously, and that finally will help them hopefully, at least for eUnited fans, break the base of Black Dragons. But we've seen strong Phoenix defenses here so far. It's gotten tough.
But this experience lead is very big, Finch. It's huge, and it's going to be very tricky, especially with a Phoenix already being down, to try and stop this onslaught. What Black Dragons need to be doing at this stage, though, is realistically looking to what went wrong in this game exactly. Their 2v2 in the solo lane started pretty well, back and forth encounter. But then at one moment in time, Benji just turned it around. Meanwhile, left-hand side, MarcelZ needs more help. That's where I'm looking at. Nann did fine in mid, but that's where the issues seem to be, at least on the surface level of looking at it.
Benji's going to be the one tanking the tower for him. PIBE is here. oShip is waiting through space and time. Came through in the back end. Seems like the call was trying to take out the back end to fight right away. Already low is PandaCat, but oShip is going to be the one that falls first here. Kliz now kind of left alone on an island, still alive. Venenu ends up falling. Give credit there to MarcelZ. Kliz been rooted down by Benji, who's been a terror. Benji who gets the kill. Now PIBE getting trimmered there by Benji, who makes it out safely. Scream gets credit for another. 3 members have already fallen for Black Dragons. 4 still standing strong for eUnited.
And they have Fire Giant in tow. Meanwhile, mid lane, PandaCat just to farm up, get his lifesteal on with those minions, and now swing back round to the left-hand side to secure this Phoenix. That fight should have all been Black Dragons. The difference is that huge experience that we were just talking about. They played that pretty well. They managed to take out Venenu with a moment's notice, but the rest of the team is just too healthy, too tanky, and they had that Fire Giant.
Nann just barely able to eke out of that one. He was in a tough situation, but of course he could create those portals, just go right through walls. PandaCat not quite able to take down that mid lane Phoenix just yet, but that's okay. They already got the one on the left-hand side to go with them. Instead, they'll regroup for the moment, come back and give that one more try. So Black Dragons still holding on right now. They still have one Phoenix in mid. Solo side Phoenix will be responding shortly, though it'll be weakened, and that'll be their chance to make their stand.
And that middle Phoenix could have fallen there, for sure. The difference is, I feel, is that someone's shot calling this. I don't think it's respect at that point. They're listening to the shot caller. If that's PolarBearMike, Benji, Venenu, whoever is making that shot call, Scream even, whoever's making that shot call there, everyone's listening, and that's a really good sign. You need that on the hi-rez Expo World Championship stage. You need to make sure you're all in sync. You follow the leader, the call is good, the call is bad, you follow it. That's what they're showing here.
And for a lot of our fans here in the arena, that's a good sign. I mean, eUnited now, the only remaining in a hope in the tournament. Hopefully they'll be able to make it on through so we can continue to see them represented. And seeing that they're all on the same page here, Graham, is a good sign for eUnited's fans right now. They're looking strong here in this first game, 14-6, a tremendous almost 20,000 gold lead in their favor here, and it really never felt like it was in the control of Black Dragons as they go ahead and start up this Fire Giant.
It did feel even at moments of this game between Black Dragons and eUnited, but like you said, I don't think eUnited ever felt out of this game or behind in any stretch of the imagination. Black Dragons started well, but they started to crumble as eUnited just focused on farm and superior use of the jungle camps of like sharing, splitting well, making sure they rotate better around the map to get them on respawn, and then even look for the invasions.
And that's what's going to be important for them, I agree with you, defending their buffs, whether that's making sure that they have more pressure over there in the solo jungle or their relic selection early on, whenever it is, they have to make sure they're not getting the speed and red buff stripped away from them early on, like what we just saw happen for them in this game. But Benji now, he's the one whose job it is to make sure the minions are coming up mid so they can make their final push.
In Kliz, we trust. In Kliz, we trust. In Kliz, we trust.
And in Kliz is where eUnited are putting all their focus, already very low, already very gone. Scream ends up getting credit for that one. Darme Pillars are coming down. PandaCat takes down PIBE. Aegis already on the clock there for MarcelZ, who no longer has it available. oShip uses the portal to get out of trouble for the moment, but Scream not gonna let him get away for free. 3rd kill of the team fight going the way of eUnited. Make that vibe here once Nann finally falls. That his Aegis. Right-hand side, Phoenix is down. eUnited take the first game in the set against Black Dragons.
Oh, I heard the crowd cheer then! Have we got some North American fans back all of a sudden? It sounds like it.
Sounds like we do. eUnited, the last great hope for the boys from NA, and they look strong here in game 1, going up against Black Dragons. A clean set we saw from them. As you said, maybe 1 or 2 things to clean up, a couple extra kills there, but they look good.
Definitely, and the big thing for me is I've been talking about Benji a lot this year, and I've got him rated over Deathwalker. A lot of people said I'm crazy. That kid's amazing, and he's a real star on this team in that solo lane.
Well, we saw them play very impressively here for you, but we can keep going on and on about that game. Let's actually get it back over to the desk so they can run through what happened there for us.
Thank you so much, Finch. And I mean, we got to go off of what Hindu said. Benji on that Chulainn was insane. He was tower diving 1v4s.
He was just so fed. He was out of his mind fed, actually. After that gank attempt by oShip on the Ratatoskr, surviving that gank, turning it around into a 1v2 situation. We were talking about it here on the desk behind the scenes here, Aurora. It was credited to that Mark of the Vanguard.
Yeah, he was really channeling his inner Divios, picking him the Mark of the Vanguard at the start of the game. It's a really strong item. It reduces all incoming damage by 4. It gives him some physical protections and some health. So it made him really hard to kill. And his Chulainn with his passive transformation, he's a very, very hard thing to take down.
And that's also another reason why he transitioned into Mystical Male. That was his quote-unquote fed build, like you like to call it.
Yeah, he went Mystical into Gaia. He was just running around doing so much damage. He had
that Mystical on top of the vent that he already has.
Yeah, the Chulainn pass.
It probably doesn't feel like a lot of damage, but it adds up, especially in those team fights.
Especially when you get that 5% movement speed, also when you vent the anger. He was level 14, so Kliz's level 11, around that 13-minute mark. He was top player damage at the end of the game, and like you were talking about how he 4-man tower dove near that tier 2 in the mid. He baited a lot of cooldowns.
He did bait a lot of cooldowns. He didn't really have much backup. Mike had his back, but the other teammates were not around. But he really, really wanted that kill on the Ratatoskr, but he didn't get it.
But even with that dominance that we saw from Chulainn, it was actually a pretty even game considering this is Brazil going up against, this is, goodness, yeah, Brazil going up against eUnited.
I wouldn't call it even, but they did show some signs.
Yeah, they're showing a sign right there. We will slay the dragon, PandaCat, feeling very confident, especially after that ricochet at 7.5 minutes. He lined it up perfectly. He was harassing them around the purple buff. He stood still for 2 seconds, aiming it, and also waiting for him to line up.
I just hate Hui. I hate it so much. Just getting ricochet feels so bad as a player, but it's awesome to watch.
Yeah, it's going to happen in like 10 seconds here after the red buff invade. The damage has been done onto MarcelZ. He waits, he pauses, the slow
You don't even get to see it, but we know what happens. Yeah. You could see just the range. You probably don't expect it. You see that Hui's far away, and maybe you're just too caught up in the moment, and you're like, oh, I'm fine. The distance is okay.
And then, you know, cool guys don't look at explosions. PandaCat turns around and is like, I got this.
All right, 6-1-5 out of PandaCat there. But we also got to talk about Screammmmm in the jungle.
The Ravana pick was so important for eUnited. They first picked it. Uller and AMC was banned by Black Dragons to start things off. I think that needs to change for game 2.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see a Ravana ban coming out by Black Dragons. At least I hope so, because this Ravana's been a menace in this tournament to deal with for sure.
Yeah, Ravana and Raijin, and both of them were on the side of eUnited.
I think it's about picking your poison. A lot of these teams don't like to deal with a Musinkob, don't want to deal with the Uller, but this aggressive jungler is another problem in the solo lane.
Yeah, I feel like if you want to, I feel like Ravana, you have to kind of go with the ban on, but you can kind of you can either choose between Raijin or AMC because they both have specialties. Like, they both have really high clear. AMC, in my opinion, he scales a lot better, but Raijin has a lot more damage in the team fights, like when it gets to like the 20-30 minute mark. But AMC is doing a lot of damage throughout the entire game.
There was a moment, though, towards the end there, I believe, when they were going for the left side Phoenix, where it actually looked like Black Dragons could have made a comeback. Do you think that maybe eUnited's getting a little too confident, a little too cocky?
Well, sometimes when you have the Fire Giant buff, you have to put yourself in an aggressive position to close out the game, and that's what I think was happening there. PandaCat was very low. He had to retreat from the battle. Venenu got picked off, but still, because of how far ahead eUnited was, they were still able to successfully
that. Nann and MarcelZ just had a really good team fight there, putting in a lot of damage with unstable vortexes and portals all over the place, and he was just putting a lot of in-hands out of MarcelZ. So they both played really well in that Phoenix fight, but I'm excited.